What is going on, my friends and family, and welcome back to another response reaction video. Today we are watching Bekah Martinez's video, How I Healed My Acne with Food. I love watching these videos with you guys because so much of the information that they give is really helpful, and sometimes the information is wrong, and if it is, then I like to call it out. So without further ado, let us jump into this. The first 6 minutes she says some really great things, but she doesn't actually get into the foods until about minute 6. So we're just gonna skip the beginning and jump right into the video. Let's go.
Let's talk about what worked for me. So one of the first steps I took for my skin was finding out the food sensitivities that I have. And I knew I had food sensitivities because I would get itchy, red outbreaks on my arms and my face, not just with acne, but like itchy patches. From what I've heard, that can be a sign of food intolerance. So I took a food intolerance blood test. My food intolerances showed up as dairy and as wheat.
Very interesting point. So I've seen a lot of these, and you guys have with me before, where people talk about the foods that cause them acne, but this is one of the first ones where I actually heard somebody say that they took a food intolerance test. Now, this is a very interesting test. Sometimes it's done with saliva, sometimes it's done with blood, and what they do is they take it to a lab and they basically just see what foods your body does not digest well. I believe they usually do this by checking the enzymes that are in your body, and if you don't have enough of a certain enzyme, you can't break down foods very well, and different races of people, just different genetics of people, have different, amounts of enzymes. So some people really suffer from dairy, and some people really suffer from wheat, soy. There's quite a few different things, and there are foods that across the board, everybody cannot do well with, and it does cause acne. But there are certain foods that some people do perfectly fine with. It doesn't cause them acne at all. But other people, it will inflame them and cause them acne big time. So like, for example, for me, soy, wheat, not something that causes me acne. Dairy, something that definitely causes me acne. So this is an interesting start to her video. I'm already liking it.
So now, for the most part, I have a gluten-free and dairy-free diet. A lot of people say that cutting out dairy is really important for your skin. I've heard that time and time again when I cut out dairy. I actually found out by accident what I was missing in my diet. I actually started dating Grayston in early February, and it was when my skin was starting to break out horribly again. And he cooked all the time with kimchi. Voila, I have some right here that I've been cooking with recently. But he started making me dishes with kimchi that I would have a couple times a week when I went to his house. And I immediately started noticing that my skin was getting better. I started racking my brain, like, what have I added to my diet? What have I taken out? Did I start using a new face cream? And then no, I realized that I had started eating something that had a high probiotic content in it. Grayson told me, like, kimchi is super good for you, it's good for your gut health, yada. And so since my acne had started clearing up just from eating that little bit a couple times a week, I was like, okay, what happens if I seriously start implementing probiotic rich foods into my diet?
Amazing. Okay, earlier she's talked about dairy being really bad. You guys heard me say this countless times. It's scientifically proven. Dairy does cause an increase in sebum oil production on your face and your body, which causes acne. But moving forward to the more interesting point that you haven't heard a lot of times is probiotics. So this is something that I covered in a couple of videos ago, talking about foods that can improve acne. I did 10 foods, and one of the things that I mentioned is probiotics, and I mentioned quite a few probiotic heavy foods. So kimchi is one of those, but any fermented food will help you. So basically anything that's pickled. So kimchi is just pickled cabbage. Also sauerkraut is another good one. I actually am pretty sure pickles, just pickles and generally, have a good probiotic content as well. But things like kombucha are great for you, tempeh, there's a lot of different foods like miso. You can also get probiotics from supplements, just eating probiotic pills, but if you can get it from foods, that is the best. A small caveat before we move forward, some people in the comment section before have said when they started drinking kombucha, it actually caused them to break out. I don't know exactly the reason of this, but again, everybody does, tolerate food differently. So it is possible that some people don't do well with certain probiotics, and also some people maybe just don't do well with kombucha itself because it does have a bit of sugar in it. Probiotics come from different strains, so there's not just one probiotic. There are many different strains of bacteria. So yeah, it's something to be, mindful of when you do start implementing probiotic foods into your diet. If it's improving your acne, continue eating them. If it's not improving your acne, maybe don't get your probiotics from that specific food.
And it completely transformed my skin, completely. I'm about to show you all the different products, and I will list them below in the description. Some things I want to note. You need to be committed to incorporating these different foods daily into your diet. You're probably not having those things a couple times a day. So when you're initially beginning this, it's really hard to overdo it. So you need to be committed. We're not talking about drinking something a couple times a week when you remember. We're talking about 2 or 3 times a day if possible. The second thing I want to say is that incorporating probiotic rich foods into your diet is not going to help if you eat like shit the rest of the time. Listen to me on that. It's not going to help if you eat like shit the rest of the time, or if you're eating foods that you have an intolerance to, which is why I recommend doing a blood test to figure out your food intolerances first, so you can eliminate any foods that might be creating some sort of negative reaction in your body.
Interesting point. I think a lot of people do expect when someone says this can improve your acne for them not to have to take out any other issues or any other foods or any other things that they're doing in their life. So a lot of times I'll say, like increasing the amount of vegetables that you eat or drinking more water can improve your acne. A lot of people are like, all right, well, I've done that, but it doesn't improve my acne. What she's saying basically is, if you're throwing tons of fuel on the fire, but then you're using a squirt gun of water to put out the fire's not gonna go out. Obviously the water, scientifically puts out fire. But if you have way more fuel going into the fire than you have of something that's putting out the fire is going to continue going. So yeah, definitely something to think about. If you're eating tons of dairy and that's a cause of your acne, probiotics probably aren't going to help that much.
You may also have to do some sort of a detox, and I'm not talking about a 3-day juice cleanse or something like that. There's a couple systems I haven't tried personally, but I know friends who have tried it, and I'll put those also in the description. One thing I've started implementing daily is green juice in the morning. I actually got this from an Instagram account that people told me to follow called Medical Medium. First thing in the morning, like right when you get up, if you have access to a juicer or if you can purchase one, I highly recommend it. I'm drinking it right now, celery, cucumber, ginger juice. This is a great way to start off your body first thing in the morning with. Okay, this is the real stuff now. The probiotics, and it's funny when people think probiotics, they just think probiotic pills. But what's been most effective for me are probiotic rich foods, most of which are fermented or cultured. My number 1 recommendation is kimchi.
Okay, so definitely green juice is great for your body. So vegetables in general are great for you, but vegetable juice is a great way to get a lot more of all the good things that vegetables have. And a lot of people generally aren't gonna eat 16 servings of vegetables, so you can get a lot more of the good things from just juicing it. So some of the things that are in vegetables that you can't get from anything else, even like a multivitamin, are things like polyphenols or phytonutrients and antioxidants. These are things that are within the actual vegetable itself and can't be synthesized into a pill. So when you get those things in, they do great things for your body. They're also really good at flushing out your liver, helping out your kidney function. They're good for things like your lymph, so you have lymphatic fluid that is being circulated around your body in all your lymph nodes and your lymph system, and that is helped massively by vegetable juice and also just generally hydration and exercise. But yeah, I vibe with everything she's saying so far. This is great. Let's move forward.
So this kimchi is vegan friendly. It's also super, super fizzy when you open it, which is a great sign that it's been fermented to perfection. I try to eat some at least once a day. It's been really hard since I got pregnant because I'm kind of, the taste is really, really strong for me. But this was one of the major keys to healing my acne. And usually a couple bites with a meal or two, or just, you know what, bite the bullet. If you don't like it, bite the bullet and just take a few bites straight out of the jar from the fridge. That is fine too. You don't have to eat it with a meal if you don't particularly like it.
A good way to get foods in that you don't want to eat generally your taste buds will change over time and you'll get more used to eating these weird foods. But like kimchi, for example, if you have like a big stir fry or just like a big meal that you're already eating, you can kind of just like chop it up and put it inside of that stuff, and then you won't taste it at all. Whereas if you're eating it straight out the can with a fork, it's gonna be pretty strong.
Another probiotic rich food that I love is kefir. This one is goat's milk kefir. This one is great by Redwood Hill Farm because it is certified humane, so hopefully that counts for something. But kefir is great. So this is goat's milk that has live active cultures in it that create the probiotics. I so do not know how probiotics work. All I know is that these foods work when nothing else did for me. By the way, a lot of these foods are fermented, and that means that they have very strong flavors. I'm not gonna lie, the kefir is has like a strong, sour, creamy kind of taste. It doesn't taste great, but you get used to it. I actually really like it now. I'll blend it up sometimes in a little smoothie with like some blueberries, honey, and a frozen banana. Like I also said, just bite the bullet and do it because it's great for your body.
Quick note about this, kefir is a good source of probiotics, but you can actually get water kefir, which still has probiotics in it, but isn't sourced from dairy. So she's recommending goat's milk kefir, which earlier she said that dairy causes her acne. So I'm not sure why she's recommending this. I think maybe she thinks dairy is like literally only bad if it's from cows, but all dairy is a cause of acne. There's a scientific study that was conducted a few years ago that shows that dairy of all types causes acne by increasing something in your body called mTOR, which increases the amount of oil production that your sebum glands do. This is because of a few different things, but one of the main reasons is that dairy is really high in the amino acid leucine. So when something has a high leucine content, it definitely exacerbates and increases the amount of mTOR that your body releases. So I would definitely not do any dairy kefir or goat milk kefir.
Another one that I love is, this one's by Farmhouse Culture. These are gut shots. And this is sort of like kimchi water, essentially. It's just fermented cabbage water. I mean, this will last, I'm not drinking all of this in one day. I'm talking about maybe a shot of it a day. But it's best to put these probiotic foods throughout your day because I don't know if this is science, but I figured out instead of putting all my probiotic foods into one meal, it's more effective for me to spread it out throughout the day. Another one that makes probiotics really easy to take, these are BioK shots. These are, I think, a little bit more expensive. They are a lot more expensive, actually. You can get fermented soy ones if you don't do dairy, or if you don't do dairy or soy, you can get fermented rice BioK shots. So they're just nice because they're handy and they come in the little individual containers. However, they are more expensive. I think that the kefir and the kimchi just work just as well, if not better. Now, there are other probiotics that people ask me about. Right away when I talk about probiotics, people normally think I'm talking about these kind of probiotics, the kind that you buy in pill form. I do not think they're as effective at all. In fact, I don't recommend people starting out using pill form probiotics. I don't think they're as effective. I don't think your body absorbs them in the same way. If you are going to purchase probiotic pills, you want to make sure you get ones that are in the refrigerated section, not on just the normal shelf, because if they're in the refrigerated section, that means they're living probiotics, and so they have a better chance of being effective. Another thing people ask me all the time is about kombucha, because we're told kombucha kombucha does have active cultures in it. These store-bought ones, they're not as good. They're just not. Your best chance if you're gonna be doing kombucha is to brew your own or buy somebody's kombucha that they brew locally. These are $4, sometimes even $5. I don't think they do as much. I really don't. I think that some of the cultures, this is just me making up stuff, but I think that some of the culture, like some of the live probiotics die off just in the process of manufacturing all that different stuff. So you have better options than both of these, than the pills and the kombucha.
Definitely agree with her. Taking pill probiotics is not as useful as getting whole foods probiotics. Same thing with like vitamins and minerals. You always want to get it from whole foods rather than a supplement, but it's still not the worst thing, right? If like you just literally hate kimchi and all other things, like you can just get them from pills, but not recommended. As far as what she's saying with kombucha, it's totally fine to get the ones that are just at the store. They totally 100% still have the active cultures in them, but she's right, they are very expensive. But they definitely taste better than a lot of the kombuchas that I've had locally brewed.
I really like it. People also ask, when can I start seeing results? And if you've had severe acne, you know that with any regimen, it can take time. I personally started seeing a difference within about a week or two, a noticeable difference. And like I said, this is with commitment. This is not just having a couple glasses of kefir, a couple bites of kimchi here and there and being like, my skin doesn't seem like it's changing. I'm talking about actual implementation into your diet and daily life. All that being said, go for it, go out there, buy some kimchi, buy some kefir. I wish I had known about all these different products years ago, bottom line. Or somebody had told me. So I really hope that this works for you. Try it out, let me know in the comments.
All right, so that was pretty much her video right there. And basically, I hadn't seen this video before, so I'm watching it fresh with you guys. This is different than what I thought it was gonna be. I thought she was gonna have a list of different foods that helped her acne. And it mainly is her saying that probiotics helped improve her acne, which 100% I agree with. I've made a video, like I said before, about this. I also made one that was about gut health itself. Basically, your gut has good and bad bacteria inside of it that are living in there, and the worse foods you eat, just to boil it down simple, the worse that you eat, the more those bad bacteria are fed and grow, and the better that you eat, the more the good bacteria grows. So prebiotic fibers and probiotics are great for your good bacteria, and things like artificial sweeteners, colors, alcohol, etc., are definitely things that are good for your bad bacteria. So when you balance your good and bad bacteria, your acne can improve. When you get a lot of good bacteria going, and a lot of times introducing good bacteria, because a lot of us don't have good bacteria in our body at all, it can improve your acne heavily. This is because, a lot of stuff happens in the gut, but there's also something called leaky gut syndrome, where if you have a lot of bad bacteria, it can actually cause issues with the cells that line your gut, your intestines, and you can actually have some of those bad bacteria and just generally bad toxins come out of your gut and make its way into your blood circulation, and that is a huge cause for a lot of people's acne. And I believe that was a cause for my acne way back in the day, because I used to eat pretty friggin' terrible. I was eating a box of Splenda a day, which is 74 servings. That's insane. And I was also having like a gallon of milk a day, so I definitely wasn't doing myself any favors. But anyways, very interesting video from Bekah Martinez. Thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me watch your video here. Like I said, very different than I thought it was going to be, but mostly all really, really good tips. So I definitely vibe with this video. I would definitely say, it's worth a try. See if it improves your acne, like she's saying, for a week or 2 or 3. Give it some time, because everything does take time. And if it's improving it, stick with it. If it's not improving it, hell, you tried something, and it's time to try something else. And there's tons of other videos here on my channel where I've talked about all sorts of different things that cause acne and also things that improve acne. So take a look around my channel if you've never been here before, and subscribe if this channel is new to you, because there's new acne content coming every single week. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you give it a big old thumbs up. There's a lot of effort that goes into this channel, so I appreciate that. If you have any recommendations for things that improve your acne, put them in the comments below, because people are scrolling it and watching, and that definitely helps. And subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Remember, you are not alone, you are beautiful, and you're part of Team Acne. I'll see you guys in the next video.